Today, we're pulling back the magic carpet on a story you think you know. We are diving deep into the real story of Aladdin, and let me tell you, it is a whole new world of surprises.
You know, when I say Aladdin, I bet a few things pop into your head right away. A charming street rat, a hilarious, wisecracking blue genie, and the beautiful city of Agrabah. But what if I told you the original story, the one that's been around for centuries, is wildly different? So get ready, because pretty much everything you think you know about the setting, the characters, and even the magic itself is about to get a major reality check from the original tale. And the very first and probably most shocking difference is the location. I want you to completely forget about the sun-drenched deserts of the Middle East. That's right, you heard me. The original story of Aladdin is set, and I quote, in one of the cities of China. The Agrabah we all know and love, that was an invention for the Disney movie, inspired by places like Baghdad. But the original story, it's firmly planted in the Far East. And the characters are completely different too. For starters, Aladdin isn't an orphan. He's actually kind of a lazy kid who lives with his widowed mother, and believe me, she is a huge part of the story. The villain isn't a power-hungry vizier, but an evil sorcerer from all the way over in North Africa. And the princess? Her name is Badru Baldibor. A bit of a mouthful, right? It means full moon of full moons, a far cry from Jasmine.
All right, let's talk about the magic. We all know about the genie of the lamp. But what if I told you that wasn't the only magical sidekick in this story?
Yep, you heard that correctly. Not one, but two genies. And this isn't some small forgotten detail. It completely changes how the entire story plays out. So how does this work? Well, before the sorcerer even sends Aladdin into that treasure cave, he gives him a magic ring, supposedly for protection. Later, when Aladdin is trapped inside, he's so upset he just wrings his hands together and accidentally rubs the ring. And poof, the first genie, the genie of the ring, appears and gets him out of there. At this point, Aladdin doesn't even know the lamp has any power at all. Now, what's really fascinating is the power dynamic here. The genie of the ring is, well, he's a lesser spirit. He's powerful, sure, but he's mostly used for transportation. Think of him as a magical taxi service. The genie of the lamp, on the other hand, is the heavyweight champ. He's the one who builds palaces, grants you insane wealth, the whole shebang. Having both of these gives Aladdin a huge strategic advantage. And this brings us right back to his mom, who, as I said, plays a huge part in this. Aladdin just brings this dirty old lamp home and thinks it's junk. It's his mother, who, while trying to polish it up to sell for some food money, is the one who actually summons the all-powerful genie of the lamp. Without her, he might have never known its secret. So, with the help of the lamp genie, Aladdin wins over Princess Badr al-Badour, builds this incredible palace, and he's living the good life. But the story's nowhere near over, because that sorcerer, he hasn't forgotten about that lamp for a second. The sorcerer comes back with one of the most clever, dastardly plans in fairy tale history. He walks through the streets disguised as a merchant, yelling new lamps for old. The princess, who has no idea the lamp is magic, sees the rusty old thing and thinks, oh, I'll do something nice for Aladdin, and she makes the trade. Just like that, the sorcerer gets the lamp and poof, he whisks the entire palace, princess and all, straight to his home in Africa. I mean, can you just imagine that moment? Aladdin comes home and there's just an empty lot where his magnificent palace used to be. He's lost everything: his home, his wife, and the source of all his power. What in the world is he supposed to do now? This is where the whole two-genie plot point becomes absolutely brilliant. See, the sorcerer only knew about the lamp. He had absolutely no idea that Aladdin still had that magic ring. And that little, overlooked, lesser genie is about to become his one and only hope. So Aladdin summons the genie of the ring, who zaps him over to Africa. He finds the princess, and together they come up with a plan. She pretends to be charmed by the sorcerer, invites him to dinner, and slips poison into his wine. Once he's out of the picture, Aladdin grabs the lamp and they bring their palace back home. It's so much more of a team effort in the original. But hold on, because the twists don't stop with the plot. The actual history of where the story of Aladdin even came from, well, that might be the most surprising part of all. That's right, the famous collection of stories we call the Arabian Nights, Aladdin wasn't originally in it. It was basically added in later. So how in the world did it get there? Well, you can thank this man, Antoine Galland. He was a French translator whose version of 1001 Nights became a massive bestseller all across Europe. But after he finished translating all the stories from the manuscript he had, his readers wanted more.
And he found more stories thanks to a Syrian man named Hana Diab. Diab traveled to Paris and, from memory, told Galland a bunch of tales he knew from back home, including the story of Aladdin. Galland wrote them all down and just added them into his collection, and they ended up becoming some of the most famous Arabian Nights stories of all time.
And here is the final, absolutely incredible twist. In 1993, an autobiography written by Hana Diab himself was found in the Vatican Library, and in it, he tells a story from his own youth about being sent into a vault and coming out with an ancient ring and a lamp. It really seems like the storyteller himself might have woven a little bit of his own life into this magical tale he shared with the world.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? The stories we think we know inside and out, the ones we grew up with, so many of them have these deep, complicated histories full of real people and incredible twists we never knew about. It just goes to show there's always another layer to discover. Thanks for exploring this one with me.